Hey, it's Chris with PhotoDabbler.com. In this video, we're going to make a kind of like a metal type sign that you can print out on either aluminum or canvas and hang it on your garage wall. So first, we want to add a new file. So we're going to do this in a 20 by 16. Okay, so 20 inches wide, 16 high, 300 resolution, RGB, black. Color profile sRGB. We'll go ahead and hit create, and that will create our document that we can start with. Okay, so we have our document here. We're going to go ahead, we have a background layer here. We'll just go ahead and hit unlock on this one, and then this we're just going to kind of create like a brushed metal look. So on our layer here, it is black, right? So we're going to go ahead and go to filter, and then we're going to add some noise. So noise, add noise. And this is all to preference. You can add as much or as little as you like. But this is going to be like 110.73. Okay, so we have our noise here. That was at 110.73, and my Photoshop is going to crash, I think, but we'll continue. Alright, so once you have your noise added to this layer, we want to blur this. Okay, so it kind of looks like it's like brushed lines. So we're going to go to filter, and then we're going to go down to blur, and then we're going to go to motion blur. Okay, so once this motion blur panel comes up, the angle is 59 and the distance is 274. You can play around with this however you like. Okay, and we'll go ahead and hit OK. Now, when you do this, you kind of notice that up at the top doesn't look right, so we're just going to stretch this out a little bit to make it fit the canvas a little bit better. So hit Control or Command T, whichever system you're using. I use Windows, so Control T. And then I'm going to hold down the Alt or Option and just drag this point out till those lines go away. See how the lines are up at the top and the bottom? I'm going to drag it up like so, and we'll go ahead and hit our check mark, and this is our kind of like our brushed metal background. All right, so once we have it sized out, we're going to go ahead and crop it so these outer so the outer border of this is not going to show anymore. So just go in your crop tool and make sure you have delete cropped pixels checked, and we'll go ahead and hit enter, and as you see this outline, we're just going to crop this off because we don't need to use that. We'll go ahead and hit the check mark, and it'll crop it, and now we have our canvas like so. And we can make some adjustments on this. Maybe just go into levels. So go to your adjustment layers down here, and then add a levels, and we're just going to darken it down a little bit. So we'll grab this middle point here and just kind of go to the right a little bit like so. I think that's the look that we want. So once this is all done, you can merge them or you can leave them. I'm going to merge them because I'm happy with it, and I'm not going to make any changes to it later. So we're going to merge these layers. So we have our background start. Okay, now I want to add some color to this. So there's a couple different things we can do. Just one little trick I like to do: go to File, Place Embedded, and I'm just going to grab an image that is like just has a lot of color in it. And here I think this one will work. Let's see. Okay, so it has this placed, and normally it'll try to place it in the center, but we're going to stretch it out. So we're going to go Alt and drag it out so it covers the whole canvas. And you're probably thinking, what are you doing? But just wait, this will all make sense in a minute. Okay, so now that we have this, we can rasterize it. Right click, rasterize layer, and then we're going to go up to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, Gaussian blur, however you say it. And I think this will work right here. So 263, and that's going to blur that out. You could have just made a bunch of different gradients, but this is just so much easier. And then let's put it on maybe a soft light, and then we'll just drag our opacity down a little bit. Just adds a little bit of flavor to it, and I think maybe we'll do let's just do a curves on this one. Clip it, and then we'll darken it down a little bit more. Maybe brighten it up. I think this might be too much. Let's see, before, after. Okay, I think this is good enough, and then we'll just go ahead, and I'm just going to merge all these together. This is destructive, but that's okay. We're going to live on the edge. Okay, so this is our background. Now we want to add all of our type and our little bolts and stuff like that. So let's go into our type tool. So T on the keyboard, or just click it, however you want to do it. Horizontal type tool. And then I'm just going to use a font that's called Monocoque. You can use something that's bold and thick will work. I mean, you can even use Impact. Matter of fact, I'll just use Impact because everybody has Impact on their system. And we'll just kind of hit, I have it on 110 sharp, and then in the center, and then this color. Let's go ahead and change it to black. Doesn't matter because we're going to do some things to it. Alright, so we're going to click right around the center of the document, and we'll go ahead and hit backspace, and I'm going to type garage, G-A-R-A-G-E, right? That's how you spell it? Okay, in all caps. Now, let's go to View, Guides, New Guide Layout, and we have, well, I don't know what I was doing with that many. Let's do columns 2 and rows 2. Okay, you don't have to do this, it's just easier if you do it. So Control T, we're going to move it over to the line and kind of drag it down to where that little target tool is on the center. Move it over a little bit, and you don't have to be perfect, but I'm OCD, so that looks good to me. If you don't have this little target symbol, just click on this little check mark up here. Alright. Control or Command minus, and now we're going to scale this out. So if I hold down Alt or Option and drag, it will scale it right from that center point. Okay, we have this going on. And do I have some baseline going on? No, I don't. Alright. It doesn't really look centered, does it? So if we Control T, it has some weird going on down at the bottom, but that's alright. We can play around with it after we do our little warp trick. So with the text selected, right click, warp text. And then we're going to use a thing called bulge. Okay. But when you do this, it does it the wrong direction. Okay, so it's a positive 50. If we take this to like a -5 or 6 or 7, I think -7, -11, -10. Okay, we're going to go with -10 on this one. Hit OK. But now I want to stretch it out a little bit. So if we hit Control or Command T, we're going to grab this middle point here, hold down Shift, and drag down. Drag down a little bit. A little more, a little more. Maybe something like so. I think that looks good. Alright, so now we want to make this look like it's embossed on the metal. So if we double click on this, that will bring our layer styles panel up, or you can click this effects button down here. Blending options, I'm going to take this advanced blending and take the fill all the way down to nothing. Okay, and then we're going to go bevel and emboss. And I have this on like 521, 24, and then the light 90, 30. The opacity, screen white 45, and then the shadows at 54. Now, depending on what text you use, you may have to rearrange these settings. Okay, you can do that. But I want to put a gradient overlay on top of this. Okay, so we have our gradient overlay, and this is just a, if we click on here, it's just kind of like some dark grays and some blacks. So this color is this one here, 2C, 2E, 2F. and that would be on both ends, and then this color here is a little bit darker, more into the blacks, 211 F1F, and you can set this however you want. I mean, you can put a regular color on it if you wanted to, and kind of make this design however you wish. Okay, I kind of like that red, so we'll put another spot right here, get rid of that, and drag it around like so. And maybe I don't. Let's go ahead and hit cancel. We're just going to leave it like this. Alright, and we could put a drop shadow on this too as well. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Let's bring our size up. Yeah, I kind of like it. Alright, so on the drop shadow, 64 on multiply, 90 degrees, distance 4, spread 2, size 13. Each font will be different depending on what you use. Alright, so that is our garage. Now let's add another type. So we have our text tool selected already, and we can just type up here, and we're going to type Miller. Last name M, lowercase I-L-L-E-R, apostrophe S. Enter, Control T, and we'll just hold down Shift and drag it down like so. And we have this, but I want to change this type to something that's a little more thinner. Okay, so I use this Gabriola, and I don't know if this is a system font or what. Just you'll have to find it. Gabriola, just search on Google, thefont.com, Google font. I might have got this from Google. I don't really remember. Okay, but that's okay. So this is our Millers here. And then I want to put all these effects from Garage onto Miller. So if you hold down Alt or Option, just drag it up and boom, it's on there. But I want this to go in the opposite direction. Okay, so if we go on Bevel and Emboss, double click on it, it'll bring your layer styles, go to Bevel and Emboss and just hit down. Okay, but that black color is on there. So if we go to Blending Options and turn our fill off, there you have it. So, and we'll just say that is good. And let's make another copy of this. So if we hold down, you can hit Control J or Command J to make a copy. I just hold down Alt or Option and drag up. That will make another copy. We'll double click on this, hit Backspace, and capital EST dot space whatever year. We'll just say 2017. Enter. Okay, and then Control or Command T, and we'll hold down Shift and we'll drag this down like so. And we'll hold down Alt or Option and maybe make it smaller, like so. So there you have that much of it. That Bevel and Emboss might be a little bit too much. Let's go ahead and rearrange this a little bit. Bevel and Emboss, let's bring our size down to about 6 or 7. Okay, that's good enough. Alright, so we'll hit OK. And you can play around with these all day long to make it look how you want. Alright, so now we want to add some circles. So let's go into our Shape tool, and we're going to grab the Ellipse tool. Okay, so just make sure up here it's on Shape, not Path or Pixels. So Shape, the fill is none, and the stroke is whatever color, it doesn't matter. 10 is probably not going to be enough, so let's change this to 45, and we'll hit Enter, and then we'll just kind of get close to the center, drag out, hold down Shift while you're dragging, and it'll be a perfect circle. And we can go all the way around it, but I think I want to go about right here, and we'll go ahead and hit Enter, and we'll see. I think that stroke needs to be larger, so let's go up maybe 20.65. Maybe a little bit bigger. Let's go up to 95. Okay, 95 is going to be good. Now, we want to get rid of this part here. Okay, because I want it to kind of butt up to the garage but have a little spacing in between. So we're going to need to use a layer mask. So let's click on this right here. layer mask, and grab a brush. You can hit B on your keyboard. And then we're just going to use a hard round brush, okay? So not the soft one, but the hard round, okay? 100% opacity, 100% flow. And if we click about right here, make sure your color's on black. We'll click here. No, we won't click there. We'll click here. No, Control Z. Alright, we're going to click outside of it. Right here, and then hold down Shift. Does that look right? That looks good enough. Alright, and then we'll do the same process here. Click, hold down Shift, click. Okay, and that'll, basically that just makes a straight line, and then we can just erase this one, and we'll erase this one. Okay, so that's our mask. And you don't have to convert this to a layer, you can just leave it as a shape. Now we're going to drag from our millers, the millers layer styles. We can just hold down Alt and drag those effects up to this one, and now we have that. Okay, and then we'll turn our fill down to nothing. Okay, so we have that one. And then, do we want to add another one? I mean, we could. We could add another ellipse. Let's go Control J, and then we'll hit Control or Command T, and then we hold down Alt, and we'll drag this in. Where do we want it? Maybe we'll put it right here, like so. We'll hit Enter, but it's too thick, so make sure we're on our shape layer. Go to the shape tool to get your options back up here, or you can go in this little box here. Go to our shape tool, we'll go to our stroke, and let's change this down to like a 20. Let's see what it looks like. That's not enough. Maybe let's do a 40. Okay, 40 will look cool, and then we want to play around with the mask again. So click on your mask, hit B for your brush, and then we'll just do this again. So I want to go right about the top of that bigger one. One click, hold down Shift, go to the top of the bigger one, and then we have that. And then we'll do the same up here. One click here, hold down Shift, one click here. We have that, and then maybe we'll erase this like so. That looks pretty good. Okay, I think that's good. So that's a real quick and down and dirty how to do this, and you can play around with your stroke too if you want to make it look a little bit differently. Like if we put this up to 50, yeah, 50 will look alright. Okay, so that would be your design. Now we need to add some bolts, bolt heads or like rivet looking things here. So let's go ahead and add a new layer. We're on our shape tool already, ellipse tool. And if you want to do bolts, you can do your polygon tool and then just make sure it's on 6 sides. And then you could drag out, hold down Shift and drag out this. But we have our stroke on and our fill off, so we can change our fill to whatever color and then turn the stroke off. And we have our little bolt like that. Now, a little trick for lining these up is if we take this, go to our move tool, and then up here where it says show transform controls, we're going to hit these 3 dots, align to canvas, and then we're going to hit the left, and then we're going to hit the top, so it's lined up to the left and the top. Okay, so we have this one, and then we're going to make 3 more copies because we want 4 bolts. So Control J, Control J, Control J. So now we have 4. They're all stacked on top of each other. So this one here will move to the right, and it's lined up at the top. This one here, it's on the left, we'll move it to the bottom. Boom, we have it down here. And then we have 1 more copy we can play with, and this is going to be the left bottom, or the right bottom. Okay, there you can't see it because of the coloring, but that's okay. Alright, so we want to move these away from the edges. because if you printed it like this, it would cut off these holes. So this one here, Control T, and then we're just going to hold down Shift, and we're going to go down 10 and over 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Enter. So that's that one. Make sure you have your Move tool on, by the way. We'll click on this one. Control T. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll hit Enter. That one's done. Let's go down to this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then we'll go down to this one. And as long as you have your Move tool selected and you click on it, just make sure it's the right one, because sometimes if you have auto select on, sometimes it selects the wrong one. You don't have to hit Control T, you can just hit Shift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now we have all these. Now let's see, we want something that goes up. So the garage text we know went up. So let's go down to our garage text, and then we're going to right click on the style and hit Copy Layer Style. And then we're going to go up to one of the polygons, click on the layer, right click, paste layer style, and there you see how it did. Alright, so I think we need to make it a little bit smaller though, so click on your bevel and emboss, and we'll bring our blending option down to maybe 12. That looks a little bit better. And drop shadow, we could play around with that a little bit more. Maybe like so. Bring our opacity down or up. Okay, so drop shadow is at 53, 4, 11, and 38. Okay, and then our bevel and emboss on this is 5, 21, and 12, and then all this is the same as before. Opacity 45. For the highlights for the shadows, 54. We'll go ahead and hit OK. And we want to copy this style to the other 3 bolts. So easy way is we can just hold down Alt and drag it on there. Hold down Alt, drag it on there, or Option if you're on a Mac. And boom. So now we have our four things, but something is wrong with this one. Okay, I think we still have the color on this one. Let's just bring our fills down on all of them. Yeah, that was the problem. Alright, so fill, and then this fill is 0, this fill is 0, this fill is 0. Okay, so let's go ahead and select these polygons. So I held down Shift and selected all 4 of them. We'll put them in a group, and then we'll just call this bolt heads. Okay, that's it. Now, if you want to add some like texture or something to it, I personally think this will look really, really good. This text here might be a little bit too big though. Let's click on it, EST 2017, hit Control T, and then we're going to hold down Alt or Option, and let's drag it a little bit smaller, like so, and then let's move it up some. You can play around with it to see what looks the best, but I think this is good. Alright, so I think this looks good. We can add some other things to it. You could add some texture to it. Let's go to File, Place Embedded, and whatever grunge texture you want to use. Let's go in my folder and see what I have available. I don't want a whole lot, but maybe let's try this one and see. We'll place this one on there, and don't worry about what it looks like. We're gonna fix it. So, Alright, this was probably going to be too much. Let's put this on multiply, and that'll get rid of the white. And then let's bring our opacity down. Maybe something like that. Yeah, I guess it's okay. You can play around with it. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on textures, but you can find textures anywhere. Just download textures. If it's a white background, just put it on multiply, and it'll bleed through. Okay, or you can put it on color burn or linear burn. Go through these darken blend modes here. So if you go down here, like some of these aren't going to look right, and definitely if you go into the lightens, they just don't look right. So multiply. I think I'm just going to stick with multiply, and then you just bring your opacity down to where you think it looks good. Something like so, 23% or 26%, something like that. So that is that. Now you could add some other things to it too if you wanted to go back into your text. You could double click on this text and do a color overlay and change the text color, and then maybe bring the opacity down a little bit. However you want, just to add some flavor to it. And then let's do the same thing with the millers. Color overlay, we have that little orange, we can bring that down some like so. Alright, and then we could do some other things on Garage too. We could add some flavor to it. Color overlay, and what if we put it on multiply? What's it going to look like? Maybe something like so. I think that looks cool. And there you have it. So that will be it. You can do, if you wanted to do these as ellipses to make it look like maybe like a rivet or something, just go to your ellipse tool and then just do the same thing. Just drag out a circle, hit enter, and then put your layer style on there. Paste layer style, and then bring our fill to nothing. It would help if we use this as a fill and no stroke. And there you have your little bolt or rivet, whatever. Or you could do some rivets all across the top too. So maybe we'll grab our move tool, drag the, whoops, Control Z. Why did it not pick that? Because that texture's on there. So we have to find where we put that circle. Where did we put it, Christopher? Right here. Was that it? Yep. Okay. Control Shift and right bracket will bring it all the way to the top. Now we can select it, and we'll line it up with this guy here. Maybe like so. Control J, Control T, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 29, 30. Enter. Now, if we hit Control Shift Alt T and just keep hitting that, it'll put them all across the top, like so. Okay, and then we would have to space them. So let's collect the top ellipse, copy, and the bottom one, and we'll hold down Shift and put them all into one little group. Let's hit everything selected. Okay, we already have our move tool. Let's change this align to selection, distribute spacing like so. Okay, they're all even, and then we can hit Control T and just kind of move them over a little bit till that center point lines up. And I think we're good there. Let's go ahead and make a copy of all these. Control J, Control T, and we'll hold down Shift and drag them down to the bottom, like so. Fabulous. Okay, you can put some on the side too if you want, but I think we're just going to leave it at that. I don't think that's lined up correctly. up here, so we'll just cheat a little bit. We'll find our group of bolts. This one here. Move it down just a little bit. This our other one? Nope. This is why labeling things is a good idea. Okay, that's good there. You know what we could do? We could make, let's grab a copy of this one here. So Control J, Control T, it's this one here, but we're never going to be able to grab it. So let's make our screen bigger, Control plus. Hold down our space bar. And we're going to grab this one, and we're just going to move it all the way up to the top and to the middle. I don't know what this is going to look like, but we're just doing an experiment because we like to experiment with things. Spacebar, move over. Okay, so let's move this to, let's grab our move tool, align to canvas. We want it in the middle and at the top, like so. And then let's move it down about right here. Okay, now this is where we're going to have a little bit of fun. So Control J, we're going to make a copy of that one, and then we're going to hit Control T. Okay, but this is where it's going to get a little difficult. So we'll make our screen a little bigger. We're going to grab this target, bring the target down to here. Why is it not grabbing? Control T, grab this down, and then we're going to hit our rotate of 20 degrees, maybe 30. Enter, enter. Now, I don't know if this is going to work. Control Shift Alt T. It is going to work. Alright. So we just get Control Shift Alt T. It'll make a copy and rotate them exactly how we did it. Now, we're going to grab this one, delete, and we'll grab this one here, delete. I think we'll leave it at that. But now I kind of don't like these going across. We could add some other things too. Might as well. Let's do a. Let's see what a color lookup does. Once you learn all these things, let's do soft warming. And now we can click through teal orange. Ooh, that's interesting. That is very interesting. I like that. Okay, you have tension green. That looks pretty cool too. That teal orange just really does it for me for whatever reason. But it's the garage is too dark. Go through your different ones. Find something you like. This is just totally optional. It's just an easy way to look at variations without doing any work. Let's put this, drag it down a little bit maybe. Just add a little bit of color into it. 48, and then maybe we'll grab the garage text. So where is that? That's down here somewhere. Garage, let's control click on the garage text. Like so, and that's going to select that. And then let's go back up to our color lookup, and then make sure you have black selected, and we'll just hit Alt, delete. And then that way, it affects everything but the garage. That's pretty cool. I think we'll save it around 50. That looks very nice. Okay, so that's how you make your sign. That's pretty simple and pretty easy. You can really do it in about 10 or 15 minutes, but I kind of drag things out a lot and do some changes. But I think I like this how it is, and I will leave a link to this template in the description below. If you want to download the template, you can. And that is it. We'll go ahead and leave it at that. Thanks for watching. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe, all that good stuff to help me get up better on YouTube. You know how it goes. Alright, if you want to learn more, you want to watch these next videos. Thanks for watching.